What's cooking, guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you for clicking on today's video. You are going to love today's two recipes that I'm going to be sharing. The first one is going to be vegetable chow mein, but this is not just the regular vegetable chow mein. This is Pakistani style Chinese chow mein. It's so flavorful. It has the typical Chinese flavors, but then it also has spicy Pakistani flavors, which is the perfect match, and it pairs so well with my Manchurian chicken or chicken Manchurian, which has spicy, sweet, sour, and umami flavors. It's absolutely amazing. Now, as we all already know, that every country has its own variation of Chinese food, and with Pakistani or Indian style Chinese food, it always has those classic Chinese flavors like soy sauce or hoisin sauce and other sauces that typically are found in Chinese food. But then you also get like the spicy kick from chili powder or chili flakes. It's such a great combination, and I'm sure you're going to love today's two recipes. So stay tuned for both of the recipes. If you're new here, do consider subscribing to join the foodie family. And now let's get cooking. So I'm gonna start by marinating about 1.5 pounds of chicken breast, but you can also use boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and I have cut it into bite-sized chunks. To this I will be adding low sodium soy sauce, about 1/4 cup of it. And then I have some onion powder, and I'm eyeballing in about 1 teaspoon. Then I have 1 teaspoon of ginger paste, but you can also use freshly chopped ginger. I also have some garlic powder, but you can also use chopped garlic instead. And then I have chili powder. I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon of it, but you can add it to your taste. And you can also use cayenne pepper if you don't have chili powder. Also some freshly ground black pepper, which will have an intense black pepper flavor. And then I have some cornstarch here, and I'm going to be adding 3 heaping tablespoons of it in the chicken. And then salt to your taste. I added about 1 teaspoon of it. If you're not going to be using low sodium soy sauce, but you're using just regular one, then you should not add any salt to it because the regular soy sauce has enough salt in it. Then let's mix this all up really well so the ingredients are coated onto the chicken. You want to let this marinate for at least 30 minutes to 1 hour so it can really be marinated well. While the chicken marinates, I'm going to prep and cut my veggies. Here I have 3 small carrots already peeled and washed, and I'm going to be cutting them into thin slices or julienne slices. This will be going in the vegetable chow mein, so that's why I'm cutting them long and thin. Then I have green pepper, and I'll use 1 whole green pepper, but I will be adding it both in the chow mein and the chicken Manchurian. So for the Manchurian, I'll be cutting the peppers into bite-sized chunks, just like the chicken. I will also be using a yellow pepper for color contrast, and it's also a bit sweeter than the green one, and I'm also cutting it into chunks. And then while I'm still here cutting the veggies, I will cut the other half of the peppers into thin slices, and these will be going in the veggie chow mein, and the thin slices will resemble the julienne carrots. Once you're done cutting everything up, you can set this aside for now. I'm going to first make the chow mein, and for that I'm going to be using these Guyanese chow mein noodles. I love these the most to make chow mein with because they cook fast, but also take on any flavors you add to them really well. They can be found in Caribbean grocery stores, but if you can't find them, guys, use whatever noodles you like of your choice. And I'm just going to be cooking the noodles in a pot of water. I'm going to let this boil, and once it comes to a boil, you want to add some salt in there to taste, just to flavor the noodles at this stage. I'm only going to make about half of the pack of noodles, but you can make however much you need for the amount of people you're feeding. I'm going to let the noodles cook as per the instructions on the package, and once they are cooked, you want to drain out the water and set them aside for now. And now I'm going to heat up a wok to cook the chow mein in, and I will be adding a little bit of vegetable oil for cooking, just a few teaspoons. And once the oil heats up, you want to add 3 scallions that I sliced thinly, and then about 6 garlic cloves finely chopped, and also 1 teaspoon of ginger paste, but you can also use chopped fresh ginger. And just toss around all the aromatics in the hot oil to let them flavor the oil. And then I'm going to add half a teaspoon of red chili flakes, or you can add it to your taste because everybody's spice level is different. And then mix it around again with the aromatics. Then I'm gonna add the carrots to this because I want them to start cooking and get a little soft and tender, but still keep their crunch. And just toss them around too and let them cook for a couple of minutes. Now I'm going to add a few tablespoons of soy sauce in there. Again, the low sodium one, but you can use the regular one as well. And mix this up as it cooks. And then add the sliced green and yellow peppers in there as well, adding them a little later so they keep their crunch. Mix it all up to combine everything and let this all continue to cook with the aromatics. And then to this I'm adding Chinese salt that is typically used in Pakistani Chinese food. This is called Ajinomoto, and it adds a wonderful umami flavor. And then I'm also going to freshly grind some black pepper in there, and freshly ground black pepper makes a huge difference in here. I'm adding it to my taste, so about a teaspoon, and then mixing it really well with everything else. And then let's add the cooked noodles I made earlier. I also rinsed them under cold water after draining them out, so the cooking process stops and they also don't stick to each other that way. And then once the noodles are added, you want to mix these all up with the veggies and the aromatics. Now I'm going to add a dash of sesame oil for a nutty flavor, and also an additional few teaspoons of the soy sauce. I was just eyeballing this, guys, to finish off the dish and keep those umami flavors going. Toss this up one last time, making sure everything is combined really well. And here is my Pakistani style Chinese vegetable chow mein. So easy to make, and I'm just gonna be garnishing this with the green parts of the scallions or green onions, just for presentation purposes. And now that this is done, let's go make the chicken Manchurian that has been marinating while we cooked the chow mein. Heat up a frying pan to cook the chicken in, and I'm just going to add enough vegetable oil in there to shallow fry the chicken. You do not have to deep fry it, but you can also air fry it if you have an air fryer. And once the oil is hot, you want to add the chicken pieces in there, not overcrowding the pan. So if you need to cook this in batches, you should do so. If we add everything all at once, the oil temperature will drop and not allowing the chicken to do its thing. These will take just a couple of minutes on each side. Once you see they are golden brown on one side, you want to flip them over and let the other side brown as well. You don't have to fully cook it right now. They will finish cooking in the Manchurian sauce I'm going to make in just a few minutes. And once they are golden brown on both sides, you can remove them onto a plate lined with some paper towel to get rid of any excess oil. And both of my batches are done cooking. Look at that beautiful golden brown chicken, you guys. You can set this aside for now. And now I'm gonna heat up the same pan I cooked the chicken in. I got rid of the other oil and I washed out the pan, and I'm going to heat up a few teaspoons of oil in there. Once the oil heats up, I'm gonna add half of an onion that I cut into chunks like the peppers I cut earlier, and then about 5 cloves of garlic finely chopped. And I have 1 teaspoon of ginger paste again, but you can also use chopped fresh ginger. And to this I will also add half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes to add a spicy kick, again to my taste, but you can add more or less as you like. And then just toss everything in the hot oil to release the aromatic flavors. Then I'm gonna add in the yellow and green peppers that I cut into chunks to resemble the onion pieces and also the chicken chunks. Toss it around again, cooking it on medium-high flame. And now let's add in some sriracha or hot sauce of your choice. I'm eyeballing in about a couple of tablespoons, and then I have ketchup, about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of it. You can adjust to however much you are making, and you can also use tomato sauce instead. Then I have soy sauce, and I'm putting in about 1/3 to 1/2 cup of it to create a sauce out of it. And this is why I use low sodium soy sauce, so I can control the salt. plus the amount of sauce I want to make. And then a little dash of sesame oil to add a bit of nutty depth of flavor. And then mix this all up well to combine everything. I'm also gonna add 1/3 cup of water in there to make a sauce out of all of this, and mix this well and let it come to a full boil. Once it starts to come to a boil, add in the Chinese salt or Ajinomoto to add umami flavors. I also added this to the chow mein, and then add in freshly ground black pepper to your taste. Again, freshly ground black pepper is going to make a huge difference in both of these dishes today. And keep mixing it well as it cooks. Then add in 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. You can use light brown or dark brown sugar. And then mix this up to let it dissolve. You can also use honey or agave syrup instead. Then I'm gonna add the chicken that I have already cooked to perfection all in there. The cornstarch on the chicken will help to thicken the sauce and make it more of a glaze. And then mix it really well to coat each piece with that sweet, sour, umami flavored sauce. And let this cook for a couple of minutes to make sure the chicken cooks throughout and also in the sauce. And to finish it off, I'm going to garnish it with the green parts of the scallion for presentation purposes. And you can also add toasted sesame seeds before serving. It's going to be so good, guys. And now, because I can't wait to try this for you in the taste testing part, I'm going to serve myself a little bowl of the food. I have my veggie chow mein, a nice serving of it with the noodles and the carrots and the peppers and all those wonderful flavors that I added. And then that chicken Manchurian that looks absolutely amazing and flavorful. And you can also pair this with some plain white jasmine rice. It is also great with that. You don't even have to go on and make the vegetable noodles. So guys, let's do a little taste test today because this food looks too good for me to not try it out for you guys and tell you how exactly it tastes. This is definitely one of my favorite childhood dishes that my mom used to make. Her chicken Manchurian and her vegetable chow mein is like one of the best that I have ever tried. So let's take a bite of the chow mein first. Look at that. Those noodles, the Guyanese noodles, are so perfect for this chow mein. I love using them. They are so light in consistency. They boil really quickly. They cook fast. And then they have the best texture. They're so soft, but they hold their shape really well. They don't just like boil and melt away. So these are perfect for chow mein. Let me try it out for you. That's so delicious, guys. Right away you get the kick from the chili flakes, you get the ginger flavor, the garlic flavor, the tons of garlic that I added, and then the umami flavors from the Chinese salt, or in Pakistan we call it Ajinomoto. It has the best umami flavor, a depth of flavor in any type of Chinese food. It's very typical to be used in Pakistani style Chinese food. And now let's try out that chicken. It's beautifully seasoned. You're gonna marinate it for anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. And it has beautiful depth of flavors from the ginger, from the garlic, from the onions, and then the peppers it was cooked in. And then we can't forget that sweet, sour, and tangy sauce that we made for it. So this chicken, definitely you have got to try. Oh my god. Super juicy, even though I use chicken breast. Super tender from the soy sauce, because soy sauce tends to like tenderize the meat, whatever meat you use it in. And then you get the sweetness from the brown sugar I added. You get the little bit of tanginess from the ketchup and just umami flavors throughout. It's so delicious. Look at that, guys. Look how beautiful that piece of chicken is. Fried to perfection, beautifully golden brown. This is so delicious. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed my Pakistani style Chinese food, the chicken Manchurian, and also the vegetable chow mein. Both of them having very similar flavors like the soy sauce, but then also the kick from the red chili flakes and the chili powder is just a perfect combination of flavors. You've got sweet, spicy, sour, a little bit of tangy, and then also the umami flavors that is typically found in Chinese food. So I hope you enjoyed both of those recipes. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll be seeing you in the next one, guys. Until then, take care of yourselves.